Hi everyone, it's me. Listen here, Macbeth. Yes, you. Matthew, Robert, Patrick. Yes, you. You are being I want to keep this family friendly and wholesome, but seriously, dude, listen here.
Here at Food Theory HQ, we're always moving to where the truth is hidden. We are utterly unstoppable when it comes to exposing the truth of the food industry. We're no cowards. And we do more than just skim the surface. Since when is everyone so lactose intolerant around here? Oh wait, since forever, 'cause we all are. Hello Internet, welcome to Food Theory.
Hello Internet, welcome to Food Theory. Hi everyone.
Show that does a body good, unlike milk, or so I plan to convince you of today. That's right, welcome to part 4, 7, 25, who knows, there's been so many at this point, of our ongoing series entitled The Food That You Think Is Good For You Actually Isn't, and you only believe that it is due to a combination of propaganda and fear-mongering. It's still a working title. But today's episode is tackling what is probably, for most of us watching in North America and Europe, the most basic of healthy eating advice that we receive as kids. Drink your milk, it does a body good.
Yes, drink your milk, it does a good.
Drink your milk, it builds better bones. There are members of my family who are literally forced to drink an 8-ounce glass of milk for every single meal. And why not, right? It makes your bones strong, it helps you grow tall, and of course, it's gonna help get you the ladies.
I'd like to meet you, but I'll bet you're hoping for a hunk.
I'm drinking milk, though. Milk's about the best thing I can drink right now to help me build strong arms.
Powerful legs, and a broad chest. And when all my work is done, will you love me just for my body?
Oh boy. Ooh, this is not aged well. Here, pretty swimsuit lady, let me heckle you from various generations of my life. Is this honestly what they taught kids back in the 80s? Will you love me for my milk bod? Because all I've got right now is sensitivity, intelligence, and charm. Please, someone, Drew Gooden, Denny Gonzalez, please, someone, look into these commercials. Oh, they are a big oof. Now, admittedly, this isn't the first weird commercial that we've had on the show, though I gotta say the adolescent fantasies and objectification have been cranked up to 11 here, so it's got that going for it. But
Case in point is quite cringy.
what's most unexpected about this thing is that it's coming from an organization that sounds reputable. America's Dairy Farmers, the National Dairy Board. But note here that there are no actual statistics that are mentioned. No references to medical terms beyond the vague words of vitamins, calcium, and bones. Same with all these other star-studded celebrity commercials. Or you got this one which uses scare tactics to convince us that without milk we're gonna be losing our arms. Sure, a lot of these are meant to be funny, obviously, but they're also meant to be taken seriously, right?
Yes.
Milk is important for you to drink. It's gonna help you grow bigger and stronger, because who would just run ads to promote the general concept of milk? This has gotta be some sort of public health announcement coming from the dairy board, right? Well, all of it is actually propaganda. In the case of our sensitive, intelligent, and charming hunk-to-be, that was actually a commercial created by a consortium of primarily California-based milk producers, as well as the marketing firm McCann Erickson San Francisco.
But, listen up, I'm just gonna say this very clearly. Even though it is propaganda, it may be propaganda, it could be propaganda, possibly, but for the mass public, is it good or is it bad propaganda? For the benefit of everyone, for the betterment of everyone, this sort of propaganda is good or bad? This sort of education is good or bad? Listen up.
Super progressive of you, California. This wasn't just one company, it was like all the milk producers in California getting together to do a broader advertising campaign. Something that, wouldn't you know, various groups across the US food world have been doing for decades. Remember, beef, it's what's for dinner? Dun dun dun. Actually, I barely remember that one, but in the early 90s, the Beef Industry Council of America, whatever that is, made a big deal about how exciting and easy it was to cook beef. Pork, the other white meat. Yep, that one's coming straight from the mouths of the pork producers of America. These sorts of campaigns are so misleading because we think of advertisements coming from single companies wanting to sell you their particular version of a product. But in the case of major food producers, they're all working together to just sell you the idea of an individual food product. Would each milk company prefer that you drink their brand of milk? Absolutely. But what they all have in common is that they at least want you to drink some milk. So they all band together to produce stuff like this.
For the good of everyone.
Milk's got calcium, don't you know? It does.
So good for teeth, it makes you smile.
So good, it drives you wild.
Milk, it does the body good.
But at least in the case of milk, all this hype is warranted, right? Like, it's full of calcium, it builds stronger bones. Isn't it a superfood? The answer is, as you can probably guess since you're watching on this channel, no. Historically, milk is a super powerful tool that humankind has used, from cavemen to colonizers, in order to stay alive and also promote their own agendas. Yep, that milk. But as a result, it's been one of the hardest food trends to get rid of, and it's literally one of the hardest food trends to digest. So let's start at the beginning, shall we?
But case in point, I know that maybe you're coming from a different background, different culture, but for the mass general public, they're poor, they're starving. It is an easy source of food for them. And if you are just painting a bad picture about it, do you know who is in society, who is the main benefiter from milk? Who? Who? Children's drink the milk. And if you are painting a bad picture about milk in front of their faces at the start of a video, do you think they'll still drink milk? The benefits of milk heavily outweighs the negativity of drinking milk.
We all know that milk comes from cows, and eventually we all realize that there's not that much difference between milk we chug from a carton and the milk that we drank as infants, as uncomfortable as that is. Both are designed as a primary food source for baby animals. And yes, there are lots of different kinds of milk out there, like almond milk, pea milk, oat milk, yoo-hoo, but we're just talking about the OG, straight from the source, as it were. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that when human babies pop out, they're not fully cooked yet, and a mother's milk, with its complex mixture of nutrients, vitamins, proteins, beneficial bacteria, antibodies, and lymphocytes, act as a literal power shake for babies. But is it still the best thing when we get older?
What is this?
It's mother's milk.
Evolution would disagree with you there, Mad Max. See, one of the main components of milk from all mammals is a disaccharide sugar called lactose, the chemical composition of which is actually very difficult to break down in the adult mammalian digestive system. It needs a hit from an extra enzyme called lactase to get the job done thoroughly.
So the more you know, there is something called lactose and lactase. But Matt Pat, I recognize that you are trying to word this to inform the general public. You could have worded this better. Room for improvements, because right now as a viewer, as an audience right now, your video is trying to paint a bad light of milk. There's the benefits of milk. It just heavily outweighs the negativity of it.
And special pro tip here, if you see A's at the end of a protein name, it means that it's the protein's job to slice up another protein so it can be used in your body.
Well, the more you know, I guess. Thank you.
Lactase slices up lactose. And here we all thought that science was hard. Anyway, without lactase in our system, lactose becomes uncomfortable to process. And that's when we get ourselves the old tummy trouble. The potty party, if you know what I mean. And the thing is, by the time people hit 20, our bodies are designed to no longer produce enough lactase to break down milk. Meaning that evolutionarily, all adults are supposed to be lactose intolerant. So what's the deal then? Why am I still able to eat a 20 scoop for Monster every year for my birthday with limited health problems?
That is not healthy, right? One person eat everything. That's not healthy.
It's outside of, you know, the enormous weight gain that comes with it. Well, it all boils down to one word: evolution. We all know that evolution happens via natural selection through random genetic mutation over the course of thousands and millions of years. Us human beings have been able to survive in some of the most varied habitats on Earth because of our genetic variety. Live in a really sunny location, evolution? You probably evolved to produce more protective melanin. Need to be able to maybe eat literally anything? Don't worry, our teeth are all kinds of different shapes, so we can basically be walking garbage disposals. Nothing around to eat or drink except for the milk from your family cow? We've got a mutation for that. Turns out that shortly after humans began domesticating animals for farming and agriculture, they found that in times of famine, starvation, and when the HelloFresh box got swiped off the porch, that they could turn to old Bessie in the front yard to literally help them survive. Sure, the milk that was being excreted from her udders might not have originally been top of the menu, but it was certainly better to have a stomach ache than a stomach dead. You know, like actually starving to death. And it turns out that a very small percentage of the population in areas where this was happening most frequently, namely Central and Northern Europe, had a little mutation that helped them out with this very circumstance. This mutation is called lactase persistence, where instead of losing lactase when you grow up, you retain it, along with the ability to break down lactose. As such, the lactase persistent people are better able to survive food shortages with the help of old Daisy and Dolores out in the barn. They're also, in general, less farty. Those two things, being alive and less stinky, make them more likely to mate and procreate. Over the last 5,000 or 6,000 years, a mere blink of an eye in terms of evolution, a decent portion of the world's population have now become mutants. Lactase mutants, not like telekinesis mutants or anything cool like that. As time went on, people developed lots of derivatives of milk, like cheese, yogurt, and butter. So if you didn't do so hot with milk, maybe you could handle some of those, and thus the dairy obsession was born out of a desire to not starve to death. This is all totally logical, but it begs the question, does this 5,000-year-old food trend really need to still exist?
Yes, yes, yes. People are still starving. Poor individuals. Alright? I know maybe of your environment, of what you've been through in your life, your cultural background may be different. But there are literally millions, billions of individuals who think that, well, having milk is better than, well, not drinking it, right? People are poor. Billions of people are poor. You can't just say such negativity about it. The kids that need it the most may say that, Mom, Dad, Papa, Mama, I don't actually need it. Mommy, I don't need it, you know. You see the food theory? They might use it as a silly excuse, a foolish excuse to avoid drinking milk. Something they can benefit from. My pet, you really should. I know that, I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't make this video. I'm trying to say that you could have worded this differently in the script. Education is important, but can't you lead that in the proper path? It's like trying to say that it's like trying to say that showing a bad side but showing a small good side. It's not. Come on, man, for the benefit of the many.
I mean, Jell-O molds were out by the 1930s, and honestly, they were a lot more fun. Sure, staple food products like milk were important in times and places where food is a limited resource, but is milk that nutritionally great for us that we need to keep drinking it when our bodies may or may not even be able to process it in the first place? Is the hype around milk actually warranted, or is milk actually bad for you?
Don't say that! Don't say that, Matt Pat! From your point of view, from your culture, from your environment, from your background, maybe you can say that, but there are billions of individuals who needs it. It's better to have milk than not anything, correct? Something that can benefit you. Don't say that. Billions of people may get the wrong concept from watching your video. Your videos have millions of views, tens of millions of views. Can you think, let's say a small portion of them, few million, let's say a few 100,000, and their parents maybe, and they show their kids. The kids will have a wrong impression of let's not drink milk, shall we? My parents say don't drink milk. You don't say that. You don't say that. It's a bad influence to the kids, especially the ones that need the most are the kids. They're growing up. Don't do that, my pet. You could have this video. You know I'm a huge fan of you, right, my pet? I watch all your videos from the Game Theorists, the Film Theorists, the Food Theorists. GT Live, I've not touched it yet. But case apart, I watch the majority of your videos. I'm pretty sure you're watching this video right now. But please don't do that. Please don't do that. You could have scripted this video in a different light. Right now, this video is showing milk as a negative thing. Don't do that.
The answer is nuanced. If you saw our Chicken McNuggets episode, you know that even the supposedly neutral nutrition advice that we get is often manufactured through corporations, or is just as often filtered through our own governments in order to benefit certain industries. So then where do all the things that we've heard about milk fall? Well, it turns out that milk does have a few clear-cut benefits. For one, milk has been clinically shown to make children grow taller. Not kidding. It's estimated that if you add an additional serving of milk to a child's diet every single day, they may add a full centimeter to their final adult height. And it makes some sense, since milk is designed to make baby cows bigger as fast as possible, since in the wild they need to be big and tall if they don't want to get eaten by lions or wolves or literally any other predator out there. So
case in point, the benefits of the milk, you stated out, the benefit of milk is in the 4 minutes mark. Literally, in the last 30% or last 20+% of the video, you state out the benefits. And if you know people, you know your audience, you know viewers, the viewership will start to decrease. And if you only see the good things at the back, and the bad things or the neutral things that may sound bad at the front, people will just watch the front of the video. It's like, yeah, I got the message, I'm not going to watch the back. And say that, well, but it's their fault. No. You have partially, a fraction of that fault is you. You could have scripted the video differently to put in the positive front at the front of the video. The positive moments, the positive parts of the video at the front of the video. So that majority of your audience who watch this video, I know because I'm a YouTube content creator as well. Viewership will decrease. And the most amount of viewership is normally at the front of the video. You could have included positive things at the front of the video instead of at the 4 minutes mark. Not bad. I'm a fan, but room for improvements.
yeah, milk can make you bigger if you drink it as a kid and also very consistently over the years. But it's when we start getting a little older that things get dubious. For instance, research from JAMA Pediatrics tracked teenagers who had consumed large amounts of milk in their childhood, and they showed that their risk of getting a bone fracture was not only the same as non-milk drinkers, but actually higher, especially when you were talking about taller boys. This is one of several studies that show that if you're taller, your bones are larger, which means that you have more body mass to support, and this leads to an increased risk of fractures and breaks, including those really dangerous hip fractures in elderly people. So the milk did make you taller, but also led to more brittle bones later in life that...
But you must remember, it's later in life. Later in life, a majority of your lifetime, you get to benefit from drinking milk. You get to benefit from being tall. This society that we currently live in right now, this society, the taller you are, the better. You should know that. You should know that. This society benefits tall people. This society that we live in right now. You should know that. That means drinking milk, you can benefit the positive side of drinking milk for a long period of time, of your lifetime. And for a short period of lifetime, maybe it comes with the side effect of being, aka aging and old. People go through that. People go through illness, sickness, disease when they're old. It's just inevitable. But a majority of your life, a huge majority of your life, you get the benefit from it. Heck, you might not even get to experience being old because, you know, car accidents, bum, accidents, bum, things like that. But before you get to experience the benefit of it. Majority of the individuals who drink milk get to benefit from it. My pet, you shouldn't have worded it that way. This script is
actually break easier. Interestingly enough, what science I was able to find shows that yogurt doesn't have a pronounced effect on height. In fact, it may slightly decrease risk of fracture, but the jury is still out on that one. Maybe we can call it breaking even? On top of that, we know where milk comes from. Lactating cows, who have naturally occurring hormones in their bodies just like a person who's recently had a baby. Not their fault, it's just the way it is. But in many countries, additional hormones or steroids are added to cows to make them produce more milk. On top of the lactose that adults aren't supposed to be consuming, a high milk intake can actually alter some of the hormone balances in our own bodies. Wouldn't you know, the results on this one are pretty mixed. Consumption of milk as a child and adolescent may increase your risk of prostate cancer later in life, but drinking milk and eating cheese may decrease your risk of colon cancer. Milk appears to be a pretty mixed bag. Whole milk might increase your cholesterol, skim milk might lower your blood pressure. This list actually goes on and on and on, and it's difficult to suss out where the science ends and where the bias begins. I mean, you have everything from one side of the spectrum where PETA has their 7 reasons you should never eat dairy, to the complete other side of the spectrum with the dairy farmers of Wisconsin, who make tens of billions of dollars a year on dairy, tirelessly promoting its benefits to the world. The truth is, obviously, somewhere in the middle of those two extremes.
And case in point, results may vary from different individuals to individuals. But as a whole, in general, if you're... as a whole in general, it benefits the mass populations in a positive way. The mass populations. And there's a saying, I'm pretty sure you know, right? The needs of the many outweighs the needs of the few. If it can benefit more people, go for it. Go for it.
Question here, is milk worse than other sources of calcium and nutrients that you could get out there? No, not really. Is it better? Nope, not that either. If the primary reason...
No, it's better. It is better. I can tell you why. Because people are poor. You might be able... People are poor. People are starving. People might not have a choice. And if you're trying to say that, well, milk is bad for you, people who are poor might not even go for milk in the first place. Something that is more beneficial for them, instead of having nothing at all. You can't say that. You really can't say that. You need to... The script for this video is just... I understand when you're trying to say that. I understand that you are being educational about it, knowledgeable about it, but you could have scripted the video differently. The positive front at the front of the video, so that people can understand that there's a good and a bad. People don't say there's a bad and a good, correct?
reason you're drinking milk is to get calcium and vitamin D so you can grow bigger and stronger and impress all the swimsuit models with your body rather than your sensitivity, consider ways to get the same or better nutrition with less controversy and less money. Green vegetables like broccoli and kale, more calcium than milk. If you hate green things, just try eating some beans. You know, those fun little round guys that come in burritos and chili? More calcium than milk. Yep, I was surprised too. Tofu, also a primary source of protein and calcium in places in the world where lactose intolerance is high, and it's both cheaper and healthier than milk. You know what else has the nutrients of milk in a pinch? A good calcium supplement and a vitamin D drop from the grocery store or pharmacy. Luckily, we live in a day and age where those options are available to us. It is not that hard, friends.
It is hard, my pet. Your viewers is global viewers, international viewers. You should know that. Look at your analytics. People from Singapore is watching your video. Your environment is different from mine. My environment is different from others. Maybe the ease of access for you, convenience is not convenience enough for other people. And people may just watch a video and say that, oh, no, it's just bad. No, people may have wrong impressions. Me being an audience, me being a viewer, I watch this video multiple different times. And every single time, I start off with a bad impression, then I have a good impression. And I know for a fact that you are trying to be good. I know that because you included the good parts in the video. But! Come on, man! Script the video better.
So to wrap up this trilogy, tetralogy, whatever it is, our series of episodes about the conspiracies lurking around every corner of the grocery store, the food is different, but the conclusion largely remains the same each time. Read a nutrition label instead of an advertisement. Don't force yourself to eat or drink something because you saw a commercial for it on TV, and for Pete's sake, if a chicken commercial is produced by the Poultry Association or a lettuce commercial shows up from the Cruciferous Educational Council, consider that they might not be the most unbiased source of information. Every food ad you see is designed to make you believe that you're going to be taller, smarter, stronger, and more beautiful if you eat that food. But lo and behold, doing a little research into a more trusted source of information will actually make you smarter, which in turn will make you more beautiful, or so I hear. But hey, that's just a theory. A food theory. Bon appetit.
But hey, that's just a reaction. A humdrum reaction. Just another average reaction. That's seriously. MadPat, be better. You're a role model for everyone. Please. Well, room for improvements. Room for improvements. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope that you take in the positive side of milk before you take in the negative side of milk first. Alright? That's the good and that's the bad of it. But for the mass populations, you must recognize that the needs of the many outweighs the needs of the few. My pet, seriously, you need to improve. This video came out in the year 2022, this year, literally a few weeks ago. Please improve. Well, anyways, let's do the outro. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you do like this video, please remember to like, share and subscribe to my channel and comment down below if you have any share of us. Don't forget to follow my channel and I hope to see you all in my next video. But hey, that's just a theory, a food theory. Thanks for watching. Thank you. Bon appetit. And I hope to see you all in my next video. Thank you so much. Subscribe. Pet, are you listening? Thank you. But please improve. Man, seriously, man. Gosh. See, this video is so long already. 26-minute video. Gosh. Going to be 27 minutes. But case in point, I'm just thankful to all the audience, to all my viewers and audience who are watching this video. Thank you all so much for being so positive, wholesome, and just understanding towards one another. Thank you so much. Sincerest gratitude and appreciation towards everyone. Thank you. Really grateful. Really, really grateful.